Hello friends, today in this video, I'm going to talk about how much do property management companies charge for vacation rentals. Frankly, it varies, and if you don't know the game, you could be taken advantage of. So throughout this video, I'm going to cover exactly how property management companies work. And I'll even go through my experience that I've had with property management companies, and I'll reveal to you which method I prefer. So as we roll into this video, I want to first help you understand what types of property management companies exist. Second, we're going to dive into what they charge. And finally, I want to reveal to you the best type of property management for your vacation rental business. If you're ready, let's go. So let's go through it. What are the different ways to manage your vacation rental business? First off, you could hire a professional, full-service property management company. Now, what does this mean? They do it all. From the bookings to the management of the cleaners, the maintenance, the reviews, everything. They collect the money and they distribute the money to you typically once a month after they do everything for you. Their goal is to handle everything from A to Z so you don't have to, saving you time, but necessarily not saving you money. But if time is valued over money, this is a fantastic option for you. The challenge, as I mentioned, they're typically expensive. They can charge anywhere from 10% all the way up to 40%. Now, I understand that 10% to 40% is a bit extreme, and I'll just tell you, typically, they're between 25 to 40%. But the reason I even bring in 10% is we have a vacation rental in Orlando, Florida, close to Disney, and we found a group that charges 10% to manage our vacation rental business. They maintain our website, they get all of our bookings, they handle all of our reviews, they handle the cleaning, the scheduling with the cleaning, and if maintenance needs to be done, they handle that as well. They are fantastic, and we feel really fortunate that we found a group that does that. But I do think that Florida is highly competitive, so many property management companies are typically on that lower end of maybe 10, 15, 20%, whereas some of the other areas, you have much higher rates for full service property management companies. Now, I remember when I was looking for a vacation rental in Blue Ridge, Georgia, I had found one and thought, you know what? I don't live close to Georgia. I might need to get my own full service property management company to manage this for us. And as I started looking, the cheapest one I found was 35%. The most expensive was 45%. Now, I understood why they charge that much, because a lot of times these homes or cabins are way up in the mountains, or they're quite a distance away from each other, and just the cost in gas or traveling or getting people to go there is really spendy for them, so they have to charge a much higher premium to do that. And so we elected to go the second route, which I'll talk about, which is half service. So half service management is another way to manage your short-term or vacation rental business. And what does that mean? Well, it's just like the name implies, they do about half the stuff, right? These are management companies that will get the bookings for you, they'll even manage the reviews, but they don't manage the cleaning, the maintenance, or collecting the money. They'll even do the guest communication and communicate with the owners on a regular basis if needed. As I mentioned, they do not have the cleaners, but they typically have recommendations and a Rolodex of quality cleaners or maintenance individuals that you can reach out to directly. They have an owner's portal that you can log into, that you can see the bookings, you can see the money coming in. They'll even give you nice reports of revenue and expenses, and their cost is pretty good. I've seen two different types of half management companies that are really popular throughout the United States. It's Vacasa and Evolve, but I've seen drastic price differences in both of them. Evolve is 10%, Vacasa is 25%. Now, Vacasa claims they do a lot more, and I haven't experienced them, but I have worked with Evolve. When we first got our vacation rental in Georgia, Evolve is who I worked with, and they were great to work with. They found a professional photographer for us to come in and take pictures, even updated pictures when we got a hot tub put in there. They did a great job, but at the end of the day, I realized that I wanted that extra 10% of income to come to me, so I decided to self-manage, which is the third way to manage your vacation rental business, through self-management. And what does that mean? Well, just like it sounds, you do everything. You put the listings on Vrbo, Airbnb, you manage everything from the guest experience to the payment, to the cleaners, to the handyman, everything. You're in charge of everything, right? Now, it sounds overwhelming, but once you have it down and you have your listings there and you have systems in place, it's not as bad as it sounds. Initially, I thought this was going to be really difficult, really hard, potentially really challenging, but as I mentioned, once things were set up, it actually started to run pretty smooth. And there are some things that you can do to really help you become a super host and get your reviews through the roof, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. But first off, let's talk about the pros and cons of each type of management company or the way to manage your vacation rental business. Obviously, some of the pros of a full service or half service is you're saving a lot of time. They're doing a lot of the groundwork for you. They're saving you time, but not necessarily money. And if that's what you value, as I mentioned, if you're the person who is super busy, you found a good deal and you just want to be able to have that money come in from a vacation rental and own that piece of real estate and watch it appreciate, a full service or half management is exactly what you need. You know, a quick story about that, even with the full service management company that we have up in our Island Park cabin close to Yellowstone, they charge us 25%, but they do have an option of 40% that they pay. And the individual we bought the cabin from was actually on the 40% plan with Cabino. And like I said, they even did everything to paying the bills every single month, where the previous owner, all they did is receive a check. They never even had to worry about anything. Whereas the 25% option, we do a lot of our own pictures. You know, we replace any type of furniture or TVs or beds that need to be changed in there. And we also pay our own bills. But that was way worth it to us to save that extra 15% to do a little bit more work. Now, obviously it depends on what you value, but for me, I believe self-management is the way to go. Because if you think about it, if you've got a property that is producing $100,000, just to make the math easy, and you're paying 10%, that's $10,000 a year. If you're paying 25% or 40%, that's $25,000 to $40,000 that you're sending out the door every single year to a management company. And to me, it's just not worth it when most of the work is front loaded, and once that's done, it starts to run on autopilot. And there are some things you can do to really make your life that much easier, or even help you become a super host that attracts many more people that want to go to your property. And here are some things that I've learned along the way when it comes to self-management to really take your business to that next level. Number one, you have to be quick to respond. You're going to get all sorts of inquiries and messages on Airbnb or Vrbo, and you've just got to be in a place where you can respond really quickly. Now, with all the properties I have on Airbnb and Vrbo, I've got a partner that he and I are typically responding really, really quick. And I know sometimes that can be annoying. You're with a family, you're at an event, you're at work, and you see a message come through. As long as you're able to respond within 30 minutes, 60 minutes, because you got to understand, these individuals, not only are they looking at your property, but they're probably inquiring at other properties. And typically those that are quick to respond on that initial inquiry is a good indication to the vacationer that they're going to have good communication with you throughout their entire experience of being able to rent your vacation rental. So it sets the tone right from the get-go. So being quick to respond is crucial. Second thing is you want to get on all of the local Facebook pages that are associated with the area where you own a vacation rental. This is crucial. I know people might say you don't need to do that, but I promise you the experience that I've had with these groups has been vital. One time we had somebody staying at our cabin in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and they needed a ride to the airport. I didn't know anything about any services there, and Blue Ridge is a fairly small town. It's not like they have a taxi service or a limousine or a shuttle that takes people from Blue Ridge to the Atlanta airport, which is about 2 hours away. I immediately got on the Facebook page for all things Blue Ridge, Georgia, and I typed in, is there anybody that anybody knows that could run a guest at our home to the airport at this time on this day? I had many responses, and somebody who said, yes, we do this quite often. We'll be there to pick them up at this time. I sent that information over to the guest. They were super appreciative, and it worked out like a charm, and all of that because I had a resource that was readily available to me. I found people that had been able to cut down trees, the handyman, people that do work, all sorts of different things have all been found on those Facebook pages. And last thing that'll help you as a self-manager that does amazing things is to have canned responses. Maybe they're written out in Word documents saved on your computer. But one thing that I like to do when somebody books one of our vacation rentals, I have done the research and I have a canned response I send to all of them that welcomes them. It gives them the information of when they can arrive, but I also give them places to eat, attraction, things to do, and even a segment I call hidden gems that give them maybe that added insight on things they can do in that area or places they can eat that otherwise they might not have heard of, because I've done an additional little bit of research at the beginning to put together this document. And every single time I've sent this out to somebody, they usually respond, thank you so much. This has been so helpful to me. Now that's something you got to update on a regular basis because there's always new restaurants or things to do in certain areas, especially as it's growing. But these are some things that I've found make a world of difference for your customers' experience in your vacation rental. Now, these are things that I've seen with property management companies, what they charge, what they do, and how they've worked for me, and why self-management is the right thing for me, and I believe the right thing for you. But I'd be interested in your feedback. So please leave a comment. Let's engage in conversation. And as always, I've got a free gift for you just for stopping by here and watching the video. It's aaronsfreetraining.com. It is a vacation rental calculator where you put all of the input in on the cost, the expenses, income, and it spits out to you whether it's a good deal or not. Once again, thanks for stopping by. Have an awesome day.